is our virtual orientation. This will be the third year that we've done it. We really started this back with the pandemic and some of the delayed starts from 3 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago. And then what we found is that having this as a courtesy check-in about a month before we get started is helpful for everyone. And so this is a way for us to introduce the staff, and we'll get to that in just a minute. And then on September 6th, which we are still working on a format, and I'm happy to update people probably within a week or two on what that's going to look like. But we'll be doing building tours, tours of the North End in small groups in the morning, and then 11 a.m. Is when we're asking everyone to be here, and we'll either meet you as staff and faculty in person, or faculty will be bringing you right in for your program-specific orientations. Everyone should be receiving emails from various people, departments at North Bennett Street School. So keep an eye out for those. I know Sharon is going to mention the incoming student survey and student photos. The other important thing that I just want to remind everybody is, actually, I'll just sidetrack here. If everyone could just put mute on for now, that would be fantastic. There's just some background chatter, which I think is great. And I appreciate you participating from home or wherever you are, work even as well. And then, so what I wanted to mention is our safety policy around vaccinations. So an email went out where you can submit proof of vaccination. And if you are going to apply for exemption, this is the end of the window to be able to do that. So reference those emails there. If you need help with that, you can be in touch with me. And then I'm just going to put, everyone should have my mobile number, but I'm going to just put it up in the chat here. Text me with any questions or concerns, anybody, okay? And I'm going to now introduce Sharon, who is then going to introduce our president, Sarah Turner. Take it away, Sharon.
Okay, thank you, Rob. So I'm Sharon Stetson, as Rob said, and I'm the Associate Director of Admissions here. I'm the forms and requirement person. And I want to thank the people who have filled out the incoming student information form already. I really appreciate that. If you have filled it out and you did not submit a photo of yourself, if you could please do so. And the reason for the photo is that we use that for your student ID, which is important for us to have that available for you as soon as possible at the start of school, since that's how we track your attendance. So, and then also, the other sorts of requirements that I track would be proof of vaccination card, as Rob had mentioned. And then also, if there's any requirement that's outstanding, like an updated or final official transcript, that sort of thing, I will be following up with you within the next couple of weeks to make sure everything is sewn up and I have all the documents that I need for you. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of the summer, because it'll be gone before you know it, and you'll be here at North Bennett Street School. Looking forward to seeing you here. And now I'm going to turn it over to Sarah Turner, the president of North Bennett Street School. Sarah?
Thanks, Sharon. Thank you so much. I love being introduced by Sharon. She's sort of like one of the heartbeats of the school and knows everything, especially relative to this conversation. So thanks, Sharon. You're going to hear a lot of sort of like how to do business at North Bennett today, who to do business with. And I know that is very critical information, especially as you're thinking about starting. No matter what age you are, no matter how many times you've restarted school, there's always that like first day of school anticipation. So everybody on this call is going to help you orient to that stuff. But I'll just spend a few minutes kind of giving you a little picture of the group that you're a part of and the context of the school that you're stepping into. So as Sharon said, my name is Sarah Turner, and I'm the president at North Bennett, which is just an incredible honor and something I'm so happy to get to do. And I am so glad to get to do it with the very strong team of staff that you are going to meet today. You're going to meet another wave of people when you come to school. Of course, there's more staff that will help to support the work that you do here. And then very, very, very importantly, the faculty. So just a really terrific group of people. This group and the folks you'll meet in September really represent all that it takes to run a whole school. We're a small place. And so you can very quickly get to know sort of all of the parts that it takes to run a school, which I just love about this place. So as Rob said, there are just under 100 people starting in September, which is a wonderful full number. We've been rebuilding our enrollment since the pandemic, and so it's just terrific to have it start to feel more like the cohort we're used to. We're looking to a really busy and full year of exceptional work, and to many of the in-person celebrations and events and conventions that we've had to let go of. So I think it's just going to be wonderful for all of us to reconnect in so many ways in the coming year. Today, you're all collected here on the screen, and I know that you're in many places. It's allowing us to be together in space, sort of, at least in time. You are coming to North Bennett Street School from 24 different states across the country. We have a small number of international students who will be joining us. And then we have a large cohort, about half of the new students that are coming right from Massachusetts, so much, much closer. True to North Bennett, you are bringing a lot of experience with you. Some of you have had longer lives and more experience. Some of you have had slightly shorter careers. The incoming class ranges from people who are 18 years old, so still gathering a lot of experience, all the way up to people in their 60s, bringing a whole sort of wealth of life and history to North Bennett, which is really one of the things we love about working here and having these cohorts together. Your peers have incredibly rich life experiences, no matter your age, no matter your background. And we really find that it's a wonderful set of diverse perspectives for people to draw on in that cohort. You will, of course, get to know the people in your program really, really well, and it can be a little slower to get to know other programs because you'll be busy and you'll be working hard. So I thought I'd share just a little bit about what we learned about you when you were applying to come to North Bennett. You showed us many of the things that you've made. You talked about the careers that you've had and the things that you've done. So you showed us things like a pedestal table that was made with a chessboard on the top. You showed us display cases that you had made for flags and medals. You showed us things smaller, like things you had made for the home or for the tabletop. We saw a knife block, for instance. And you showed us things like full timber frames. So everything on the range of scale for something that goes inside the house to something that's a building. We saw chain mail. We saw made out of copper. We saw hand-forged bottle openers and a leather-wrapped periscope. And we even saw a portfolio of a tattoo shop. So a lot of wonderful experience. It is a thrill for us to see what you've made in order to get yourself to North Bennett. And of course, we really anticipate what you'll make and what you'll repair and build while you're here. We know that we're all sort of together in this thing called the Great Resignation, or I've started to call it the Great Redirection, because it's really been what we've been experiencing at North Bennett. We've had a lot of folks who have come at this time, but that predates the pandemic. We've always been a place where people have been thinking about changing careers or adding to careers or adding chapters to their lives. And it's aligning really beautifully with this moment that people are thinking about what they want out of their education, what they want out of their training, what do they want out of their day-to-day work. We have seen some of the stuff that you've been involved with. We've got a banker who's joining us, a librarian, a video producer, a band director. We're being joined in this class by a firefighter, a teacher, a delivery driver, a surgeon, a US Navy musician, someone who's been a flight attendant, someone who's built harpsichords, someone who's been a waiter working in restaurants, and someone who's been a bike mechanic. So it's wonderful. The stories never stop. And I hope you'll share them with us because the richness and the multidimensionality of the people who work and train here, it's just incredible. You'll be here, of course, to invest really deeply in your fields with your colleagues, your classmates, your instructors, the alumni that you'll get to meet. It will be intense and it'll be fast. Some of you will just be here for 2 semesters. Some of you, if you're a violin maker, will be here a little longer, 3 years in that case. But regardless, it's going to be focused and specialized, and it's going to be expanding what you know how to do. You're also you're part of something much bigger than just your own time here. You're really part of a tradition of 140 years of giving people the skills and abilities to build meaningful lives, to contribute to their communities, to have productive livelihood. And we really see that North Bennett is a place to influence the future of our fields in positive ways. So taking what you learn here and moving it forward to create fields that are what we want them to be, vital and supportive of diversity, and making room for other people and creating opportunity for all the people that want to practice in our field. So we think of ourselves as a sort of an incubator for the positive work that can happen in the fields when you leave North Bennett. You'll see us in that way as a training ground, not only for skills, but for creating a positive, inclusive work environment while you're here. So it can serve as a role model for when you're out in the field and have the opportunity to influence the fields that you're a part of. North Bennett started as a place that helped people be a part of where they live and where they work, to give them the skills that their community would need. We're still doing this. You'll be doing this with us. And we hear stories from alumni all the time. We hear about their work repairing buildings and preparing instruments, building homes, working at all scales. I've had the opportunity this summer to hear from alumni. I've been asking to know, like, what's the proof of the work in the world? And so you'll get to hear that as you're here and as you move through and make your own contributions. So soon we'll be meeting you and greeting you in September. Early in September, the school's going to be hosting a large back to school party to bring back the friends and supporters and volunteers that have really helped us stay strong through the last years of the pandemic. We have not been able to host big in-person events, and this year we'll be able to bring them back. So that'll give you a sense of really the fullness of the community that you're joining, and you'll hear more about that after just sort of us schools getting started. So for now, welcome. We're looking forward to having you with us next month. And I will turn now to just a sort of a relay of colleagues who are going to help you learn a lot of the practical pieces of information that you may need. And so to start that out, I will introduce and welcome our provost, Claire Fruitman, who is also a graduate of one of our programs. Claire.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everyone. I'm Claire Fruitman, the provost, as Sarah just said. I'll speak to you again later as the provost, but right now I'm sitting in for the Director of Student Support and Career Services. We're in the process of hiring someone for that position and hope to have them in place soon. Hopefully the title of Student Support and Career Services tells you something about the position. While you're here, we'll support you in many ways, both academically and beyond the bench, to help ensure your success both in school and in your future career in the trades. We provide short career workshops on topics like resume writing, writing an elevator pitch, interviewing, and others. We also offer a series of seminars in the spring for small businesses, where we bring in experts to go more in depth on topics including insurance, legal issues, marketing, and accounting. The Director of Student Support and Career Services maintains a jobs and commissions portal, which you'll have access to during school and in the future. We have resources for you around health and wellness. We partner with the local health center to provide virtual mental health counseling sessions. There's a small pantry on campus to help those dealing with food insecurity. The Director of Student Support and Career Services is the person to see if you have any issues. That person might not be able to help you with the actual skills taught in your program, but if you're having trouble with anything from taking notes in class to getting here on time or looking for employment, the Student Support and Career Services is the place to start. We'll make an announcement as soon as we have someone in place. And in the meantime, check in with your instructors or me if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to work with you. So that's it for student support and career services. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to Jamie Durgay, our Director of Financial Aid.
Thanks, Claire. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see such a large group at virtual orientation this morning. My name is Jamie Durgay. I'm the Director of Financial Aid, as Claire said. I've met many of you already, either through email or over the phone, if not in person, working on getting your financial aid in place for the upcoming school year. For you veterans in the group, I'm also your school certifying official. And for those international students, I am your CEVIS officer. So I'll be meeting and working with most of you during the course of your training here at North Bennett Street School. Financial aid will disperse for the fall term on September 12th. So those of you who are expecting to receive financial aid, that is the date it will disperse and hit your student account. If you're expecting a refund to pay for your living expenses and other expenses, that will be forthcoming probably later that week from the business office. Some of you, you'll be hearing from me between now and September 6th. There may be still some outstanding items to get the financial aid ready to go. So you may hear from me around that. But if you still would like to apply for financial aid, please do. We can, it's not too late. Full financial aid consideration and our robust suite of scholarships are still available. There's no deadline that has passed for that. We can still consider you and qualify you for financial aid for the upcoming school year if you need it. And any other questions, just feel free to email or call jdurgay@nbss.edu. And I am available Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays here at the school. So that's sort of the overview for me for now. Reach out with any other questions, please, and we'll help you out the best we can. And I guess now I'll turn it over to Kristen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kristen Odell, and I'm the Retail and Exhibits Manager. I'm assuming you all can hear me. Yes? Okay. My role is here in the store, which you can see behind me, our exhibitions and our public programming series in the making. So for this purpose right here, I'll talk toolkits. I am assembling all toolkits for all programs, and there's plenty to go around. I've accounted for one for every single student coming in. So you can email me with any questions. You should have seen those links go out through your letters from faculty as well as on the orientation page to purchase your toolkits. And there were a few glitches, no one's fault, tech world stuff. So if you ran into any issue where it was a flipped list, just email me at store@nbss.edu with any questions. So that's regarding kits, and the rest of my role here is exhibitions and public programs. So you will see me sort of, nosing into your lives here just for inspiration for those two things. So you'll see a lot of me. And if you have any questions, I guess you can ask at the end. And I'm going to turn this over to my friend and wing person, our receptionist, Kaylee Maraglia.
Hi, I'm Kaylee. I will be in the front lobby right when you walk through the doors. I'm the first face you see. I sort of have my eyes and ears all around the school. So if you ever get lost or need to know something, odds are I will know it. So please use me as a resource in that regard. Coming up, I will be working closely with Jamie in financial aid for our veterans. I graduated from the jewelry making program last summer, and I navigated veterans benefits myself. So I'm a little well versed in there. So please use me as a resource, and you'll see me every day. I'll pass this along to Mark in facilities.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I was on mute. I'm Mark Dreyfus. I'm the Director of Facilities and Technology at the school. So I have the team that basically manages all the building systems, also and operational functions of the building. We also make sure to keep the building clean. All of this is obviously important to you guys because you guys are occupying the building. So we want to make sure, my team makes sure that health and safety is adhered to, and that we take care of you guys if something does go wrong. But we also are very visible. You guys will see me and my team all the time, walking around, pointing at stuff through the building. So I'm looking forward to meeting all of you when you guys come aboard. The other thing we do is we help your instructors with facilitating or accommodating any of the work that you guys are doing. So you'll see my team around. And I'm passing it off to Barbara.
Hey everyone, can everyone hear me as well? Yes, okay. My name is Barbara Rakowski. I am the Associate Director of Marketing and Communications, and I'm part of both our marketing office and then our greater communications and engagement team, which Kristen is a part of, as well as our continuing education department, which does shorter evening and weekend classes or week-long things as well. So things specifically that I do here in our office with our Director of Marketing and Engagement, whose name is Kevin, who's not here today, but will be so excited to meet all of you, is we handle anything that really comes to you, from email marketing to social media to magazine publications like our Benchmarks magazine that just came out, and you'll be seeing some of those soon. Website administration, all kinds of things like that. So we're always here if you have ideas of stories to write for our website, things to put on our social media channels. And then something that we have done in the last several years as well, which has been really wonderful, is to hire a student from each program to be a photographer. And so I have students every 2 weeks submit a few photos of some things or videos that they've been working on, and we'll use those to share on our social media channels. We might absolutely put them in publications or on the website in the future. And so just be thinking as you're settling in, if that's something that you're interested in. We pay at our student worker rate, which you will also learn a little bit more as you all get settled here. So no need to kind of jump just yet, but take some time to get settled in and figure out if that might be something that you have some time for and you're interested in. I'll be back in touch to reach out to everybody about that as we keep going. So I think that's everything from our department, and I'll hand it off to Colleen Walsh-Powell in the development office.
Thank you, Barbara. Hi, everyone. I'm Colleen. I'm the Director of Development for the school. The development staff is comprised of myself, Melissa Gallen, and Nikki Downer. So an office of 3. Within the building, we are situated, we share an office suite with marketing and communications. So where Barbara is today, that's where our offices are. I'm at home today, but there's always someone from the development staff in the building any day of the week. Our function at the school is to develop resources for the school, mostly through fundraising. And all of the fundraising we do goes towards supporting every aspect of the school, from funding for tools and materials to scholarship and financial aid. It's mostly a kind of externally facing office, so we don't interact on a day-to-day basis with students that often. The primary way is to help us thank our donors. So we have, I think we counted last year, 450 donors to the school last year. And we try to thank those folks as much as possible. And one of the main ways we do that is by sharing the impact of their support, which is your experience, the student experience. So a few times a year, we reach out to students, either individually or as a group, to help us share your stories, maybe attend an event where there might be some of our supporters there, to help kind of show what their philanthropy means and what it does for students and faculty and for the school as a whole. So that's what we do. Like I said, you can contact our office or stop by anytime, and it's really nice to see you. I hope you guys have a great fall.
And I'm going to take it from here. I've switched hats now, and I'm back as the provost of North Bennett Street School. So I oversee the career training programs and faculty, and I'm also a graduate of and a former instructor in the cabinet furniture making program. You're at the beginning of something exciting and unique. You might feel a bit overwhelmed right now, but once you're here, it won't take long before you're comfortable and North Bennett begins to feel like home. You made the decision to learn your chosen craft, and there's a reason you're coming to North Bennett Street School to do this. We understand how it feels to have a strong sense of accomplishment at the end of each project. There's something tangible when you're finished. You look at your work and say, I made that, or I fixed that. Your prospective customers will also be looking at it and judging it and deciding whether or not to hire you. And after you finish a project, you'll hear customers say good things, which you'll enjoy, and occasionally not such good things, from which you can learn. To succeed in your chosen field, you'll need to be skilled, you'll need to be knowledgeable, you'll need to be resourceful, and you'll need to be committed to high standards in your work. This is why you're coming to North Bennett. The skill comes with practice. Your instructors will ask you to repeat, practice, or redo, even when you may think you've done enough. Remember that they're the teacher and you're the student. It's their job to get you ready for employment. We believe that practice makes you ready. You'll practice until your hands know enough so that you can let them do their work. With enough practice, the skills become natural and your hands can create what your mind imagines. The knowledge and resourcefulness will come from asking questions and listening to the answers. Your questions will let your instructors know where you need help. The answers are the reason you're here in school. Ask a lot of questions and pay attention to the answers. If your instructors show you more than one way to do something, consider it an opportunity. Ask them why they do it a certain way so that you can add that to your understanding. Down the road, you'll have to choose solutions for yourself. You might expect that your instructors will have answers to every question and solutions for every problem, but some new problem may arise that requires a new solution. It's important to realize that knowing how to analyze a new problem and find a new solution is just as important as knowing the familiar solution to a familiar problem. Problem solving is a big part of everything you'll do, and it's an important skill to develop. If you make a mistake, show it to your instructors, discuss it, and learn from it. Figure out what went wrong. You'll learn things from mistakes that you wouldn't learn otherwise, and that's part of the process. Set high standards for yourself while you're here so that high standards become a habit. There's a saying, if you think it's good enough, it probably isn't. Your work may indeed be good enough, but if it's just good enough, it will not be outstanding. When you say, that's good enough, you're in danger of getting into the bad habit of saying it all the time, cutting corners and turning out mediocre work. There are a lot of people out there who will claim that they can do what you can do, whether they can or not. And it will be your high standards and the resulting quality of your work that set you apart from the crowd. This school experience may be different from others you've had. Most important, we're preparing you for work as soon as you graduate. Our standards for measuring your performance come from what employers will expect you to be able to do. This is important. We expect from you here what employers will expect from you in the future. This is an opportunity for you to learn as much as possible from a curriculum and daily schedule that have been carefully planned to make the most of the fairly short time you'll be here. And while you're here, I encourage you to think of this as a community of people with similar interests, all trying to achieve goals similar to yours. Like any community, it works best when everyone understands that their welfare is best served by thinking and acting as a member of the community. As an institution, we welcome a diverse student body. You'll meet people here with different backgrounds, different opinions, and different lifestyles, just as you will in your professional life. There's no room here for racism, sexism, bullying, or harassment of any kind. Your guides through all of this are your instructors, me, and the student handbook. You have access to the handbook through an email you received from your faculty with a link to the Welcome New Students page of our website, and you'll find the handbook under additional information and resources. It contains critically important information. You're required to read it and to familiarize yourself with our policies, including attendance, tardiness, absenteeism, and guidelines and requirements for COVID-19 safety. And please pay close attention to the Student Code of Conduct. It's very important that you understand what's expected of you and what behaviors are unacceptable. If you have questions, complaints, or issues that your department head and instructors can't help you with, check in with me or the future student support and career services person. We'd all like to hear how you're doing and how you think we're doing. We're all paving the way for how our trades may be conducted moving forward, so let us know what you think works and what doesn't. Let us know your ideas if you think something here could be working better. And finally, and remember, I speak from experience. Right now, it feels like your time here stretches out a long way in front of you, but that time will fly by. This may seem overwhelming right now. You're changing your life, you're meeting new people, but if you only take away one thing from everything I've just said, remember this: make the most of your time here. Use the class time with your instructors wisely and listen to them. Every moment here is precious. We'll be gathered at your graduation ceremony much sooner than you realize. We hope that then you'll know that this was time well spent and that this was a great way to begin a new chapter of your life. We're really looking forward to meeting you here in person soon. And now I'll turn it back over to Rob.
Thank you, Claire, and thank you, everybody on staff, for introducing yourself and sharing with our incoming students what it is you do here and how we're all set up to be able to help people be successful. This is a pretty good sized group, and so now that we're at the Q&A section, I just want to ask everybody if you wouldn't mind, if you first thing I'd like to do is, could everybody just put in the chat section, like, what is the program you're coming into? If it's preservation carpentry or bookbinding or piano technology, I think that would be a fun exercise, just in order for us all to see out of the 8 programs that are here, you know, you could see kind of who are your shopmates going to be here. Thank you. Oh, somebody's coming in. And then similarly, I feel like my hunch is to also use the chat function for any questions anyone has right now. And I think it's probably wise if I stay as the liaison, if there's something that if a question comes in that I can find the person who has the answer to. So does anyone have any questions? Monthly parking options. The North End is one of the most challenging areas in all of New England to drive or park. I would use a search engine if you're looking for some kind of paid parking here. I also feel like getting familiar with the MBTA system is helpful. And I'll tell you what I do. I live about a half hour from the school. Normally I will drive to a parking lot that is on the blue line, one of the subway lines that comes in. And I park there for something like $4 or $5 a day. And then I'll get an MBTA pass. Everyone should have gotten an email on MBTA passes. And I feel like that's one way to approach it, is to, if you're outside the city, drive to what would be less expensive than being right in the North End. The North End is, you're going to wind up paying like a city premium to park here. Okay, and the orange line is down. Yes, Spike, that is true. The MBTA seems to be pretty challenged all around. I'll give you the phone number of my friend who's the head of the Blue Line Union if you're on the Blue Line, and you can complain to him directly. No, I will not do that. Is there a gym close to the school? Yes, there is a gym. There's some paid gyms, you know, like franchises. But my favorite one is the local one. And I'm going to say, is it Nazaro or Navarro? Nazaro Center. They were our neighbor for many years. And I would look at, I'm going to just type it in here. Nazaro Center. And that's a community center. It's very short money to have a membership there. I did it for a couple of years when we were closer there, and it's about 8 blocks away. Is there financial aid for housing living costs? The short answer, Fox, is yes. If you get financial aid from FAFSA and North Bennett Street School, it goes towards tuition first. And then once tuition is covered, anything beyond that you can use for cost of living. Gerald, Mike's or Bova's, you know, pastry like pizza or love is unique to the beholder. So I think experience here is going to be your guide. So I would visit both and then please report back to us. Derek, toolkits, that's Kristen. And I'll put the email in. It's store@nbss.edu.
Rob, I'm just going to jump in here real quick. I've seen a few questions come through on toolkits regarding tax-free weekend, financial aid, and purchasing. Just contact me directly. A few of you have, and forgive me, it's in my queue to respond. And a few of you have already purchased your kits, which is awesome. So any of those questions, just email me. You can do it right now, and I'll get back to you as soon as this meeting is over with.
Thank you, Kristen. And Vance, I see you kind of connected financial aid and tools. So similar to the cost of living that I answered earlier, once tuition is covered, you would have the ability to use financial aid funding towards tools. And I would connect you with Levi Barrett in the business office. He's the person who does tuition billing, and then also helps people make connections with tuition and tools when that's available.
Rob, if I can just jump in real quick.
Yep.
So regarding the question about tools and financial aid. So yeah, you're exactly right. Certainly if your financial aid or other benefits are such that you'll be receiving a refund check, that money will come back to you, which you can use for your tool expenses or to reimburse yourself for your tools if you've purchased them up front on the first day of school or something like that. For those of you who have, if you know, where your financial aid is such that it's going to cover all of your costs, or some combination of financial aid and other benefits like financial aid and VA benefits, we'll be working, you know, myself and Levi and Kristen will be working to prepare toolkits for you folks, so that you'll have them available to you when you start school, because your aid and your benefits are such that those costs will be covered in full. So hope that helps.
Thank you, Jamie. There was a question earlier about employment. When I have questions like this, I think of two things. One is there are a small number of student worker positions at the school. Once you get started and settled, there'll be information about any of those roles that you can apply for. And then if it's employment outside of the school, that breaks down into another 2 channels. One is if you need a part-time job for cost of living. You know, we're in a city where you ought to be able to find something that's appropriate and that works with your schedule and being able to commit to train here. And then there are a few, like with locksmithing, since locksmithing finishes earliest at 12:30 every day, by second semester, we will do our best to try and connect you with a paid internship that you can leverage into work. That's also true later on of a few other programs as well. And faculty will be talking to each of you about what those opportunities are. Let me see.
Rob, you have someone who's holding their hand up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm on 3 screens here, so I'm just, Ian, what do you got?
Yeah, I was raising my virtual hand. I have a question kind of in regards to the toolkit, and I saw that someone else in the chat wrote like, what do you need for carpentry students? So I've had some emails with the cabinetry and furniture making staff, and I also emailed you, Rob, kind of about that question. And I saw, Christian, you guys sent out that list of basically all the tools that you think that we need, that we should order prior to class. And then I think Dan was saying to me that all the furniture and cabinetry students, or at least to me, like we should hold off on buying any tools before the program starts, because they want to kind of have that conversation with us and see that, like, help us make the best tool selection we can possibly make. So I guess my question for you was, like, what is essential to have on day one to bring into class? Or is that something that, we'll kind of more go over in orientation, and then we can make those toolkit purchases at school?
So are you referring to carpentry or cabinet and furniture?
Yeah, cabinet and furniture is specific,
Okay.
but I guess it's kind of a broader question for everyone else in the program.
Well, we created those, all of there's starter toolkits and full toolkits depending on which program you're in, and that's what we shared with everybody on the orientation page and through your faculty letters. So that gives you a basis of what your instructor expects you to have in that program. But I would say for cabinet and furniture making, if you want to wait before you buy, say, a number 4 plane, and Claire, correct me if I'm wrong, you should at least show up on day one with, a notebook for one thing and some pencils. And you're starting off with drafting supplies mostly on day one, and then a basic set of chisels, like 1/4 inch, 3/8, half, and 1. But if you show up day one with just that notebook, you can come down and buy what you need based on what your instructor tells you that morning, if that helps.
Yeah, very helpful. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I believe there's also on the new students page, there's a section for each program, and that will have information from your instructors about what you need that first day of school. You don't need much for orientation, just a notebook and pencil, but the next day, which is the first day of class, you'll need a few things.
Cool. Anyone else have any questions?
Hey, Rob, this is Kenny. I had a question for Jamie. In an email a while back, you mentioned that you were going to be finishing up the enrollments, I think what it was, for the end of July, beginning of August, I think is what it said. I just didn't know if there was any updates on how far along you are with that. I'm asking because I had a question for the VA, the veteran stuff, as far as what supply or what stipend we were going to be able to get for supplies and all that. And they told me that once they got the information back from the school, as far as enrollment stuff, that they're going to shoot that information back out to us as far as what we can expect for housing and supply stipends and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question, Kenny, and very timely. The certifications for new students in September have all been submitted. They were submitted at the end of last week, actually. So that information is with the VA now. You should, moving forward, they'll have that information. They should be able to communicate with you about that moving forward from now. So, I can tell you that you should expect to receive the first housing allowance will come about 30 days after the start of the school year. So around first week of October is when you can expect to receive your first housing stipend.
Thank you. That's good information.
Yeah.
Very much.
And then, sorry, I was just typing a reply. Meg has a question about attire and footwear recommended for programs. I want to say that information, because Claire, you and I were just going over this, is in the student handbook. The student handbook should probably be linked on that landing page. And it is, thank you, Barbara. So take a look there. And I'm wondering what's one of my old tricks, Control F. You know, like I would type in shoes in Control F, and maybe on the PDF or the document, that the part about that will show up, or you can just scroll through. People do need laptops for carpentry. The information about that is on the tool list. And we have laptops that are available for purchase, I believe. And it's just that it has to be able to handle the program that does the name is eluding me. It's like Ryan CAD. SketchUp.
Just there are a few programs that need laptops that can handle that. And many of the programs, really, you would just need any laptop that you can get on the internet with.
Yeah, and then Sarah has a question about a firearms policy. No firearms are allowed on the premises. That would be my understanding.
That is correct.
Let me see. What else? Barbara said that we'll be sharing some commuting resources for people in the next email that comes out. That's something that we put together a while back, and that'll be coming out to everyone. What else? The pass, I feel like usually the way picking up your MBTA pass works is once they arrive here, they're available at reception. So you can come and get those. And by the time the September 6th orientation is here, if that's the first time you're coming and you purchased one, it ought to be at the front desk. Is that right, Sharon? Great. So Harrison has a question about textbooks. There is a textbook in carpentry. And Harrison, I think, are you piano technology? I think you're essentially, there's suggested reading in most of these programs. Essentially, the notes that you will be taking day to day and the photographs you'll be taking in piano technology will become your textbook. It's kind of a cool exercise.
I'll answer this real quick, Rob. If it's for basic piano technology, there's a textbook and it's in your kit. It's provided complete with your kit. So, and that will be handed out to you by your instructor.
Cool. Question about lunches. You can bring lunch. There's absolutely lunch breaks and breaks for people to take a breather. Most programs will have a refrigerator if you're going to bring a bag lunch or something. There's microwaves and things like that. The north end is your cafeteria. Be careful. And let me see, weekend open hours. So there's a calendar that gets released electronically and then is taped up by all of the water fountains on hours. So it comes out a month beforehand. And when you get here, either, be mindful of the email that comes out and reference it there, or snap a picture of the physical one that you see. And that'll give you the hours that you can be here. We are not a 24-hour access place. We believe in rest for everyone. The programs here, each one of them is physically and mentally rigorous. Most are using sharp tools. And so we want to make sure that you get enough rest to be safe and to be able to learn. However, there are additional hours you could stay and push work forward, especially in the program-based or project-based, like individual project-based, like furniture, violin, jewelry making. All right, let me see. For my my colleagues here, am I missing any of the questions that are coming up here?
I was just typing one out, but I can just ask it if
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a little faster. I have a question for Jamie. So if I'm a micro work ethic scholarship recipient, I believe I got an email from them. They said they're going to email you that check. And I'm questioning, is that something that you deal with, or is that something that I need to come in for to handle? Yeah.
Yeah, Micro will disperse the scholarship funds probably later in September.
Okay.
So those funds will be, we have a number of students who are recipients of that scholarship from that organization. Those funds will be dispersed to the school directly. They'll go, Levi will post them to your student account when we receive the funds.
Sweet. Thank you.
Rob, I saw two questions that I can speak to real quick
Go
that
ahead.
were in the thread. One was about North Shore, South Shore. We don't take sides here on where we live, but I will tell you firsthand that I live on the North Shore, and if you're driving, personally, I would choose the North Shore over the South Shore. But if you can commute on the commuter rail, you can do that from either end around the city, and that's preferable. And the second question was, what else is sold in the store? We sell handmade goods by alumni. We sell all our branded items, all of your t-shirts, aprons, journals, that kind of thing, and tools for every single program.
Cool. Thank you, Kristen. We're a little bit over now. I'm sure we can stay if there are other questions. Anyone have any other questions for any of the staff people here? Cool. You ought to have my mobile number, all of you. And so please text me or give me a call with anything, or reach out directly to any one of the staff members here that's specific to the question that you have, or to faculty. I want to just say thank you to all of you incoming students for making the commitment to come and train at North Bennett Street School for a new career or one that you're building on. We look forward to seeing you in person on September 6th. I will be updating an email on what the format is going to be exactly on that day. And thank you also for all of the my colleagues here at North Bennett Street School for joining us this morning. We're a very small place. We're a place where we get to know people as much as they want to be known. And so please, when you arrive here, feel free. This is your school. Come and say hello to us, check in with us. You know, suggestions, edits, compliments, we're open to all of it. And thank you again, everyone, for coming. We'll be sending a recording of this probably within about a week, and look forward to seeing you or hearing from you before September 6th. Thanks, everyone.